Hey guys, Red here, and today we'll be playing the killer I'm probably the best with, the Wraith. Now, I haven't played him for a few months, and with the ruin changes, I decided to mix the build up just for fun. The build itself will be focused around Bamboozle for vault speeds, and Fired Up to stack that vault speed as the game progresses. Now, with that being said, the whole point of running these two together is really just to end chases as quick as possible, and will allow us to get Pop Goes Weasel off as our slowdown perk. Of course, we'll be taking Barbecue and Chili to find our targets, and, some juicy extra points. Also, feel free to jump ahead into the video if you just want to watch the gameplay, rather than watch me discuss everything about the build and how I like to play it. Now with Bamboozle, the really big perk behind it is actually going to be the fact that we get to block the vault locations of survivors for 16 seconds. Now, this is going to stop a lot of T-walls and any kind of other loop that revolves around vaulting. This allows us to end chases faster and make sure we get the most use out of our time. Remember, with Wraith, you are not really a chaser. You're meant to get hits and run, or get hits and know that you can end the chase with under 10 seconds to 15 seconds. Now for add-ons, we actually have a huge selection we can pick from. One is going to be try hard, one is going to be for fun. If we're going try hard, you want to go Swift Hunt. Swift Hunt is an amazing perk. It's going to considerably reduce the Wraith's reappearance time. Not only are you going to be able to come out of stealth quicker, you're also going to be able to avoid them flashlight stuns, which can be super annoying if you're going against a good team. With that, Coxcomb Clapper is a great secondary. It's going to render your bell completely silent. This should explain enough. They're not going to know if you're right behind them or behind a tree. Remember, you don't need to walk up behind your opponent as the Wraith. Now, if you don't have Coxcomb Clapper, no big deal. You're going to want to take yourself Windstorm. With Windstorm, it's going to increase your movement speed while you're cloaked, and it's going to decrease the movement speed while uncloaking. That's okay. We're willing to make that sacrifice. One, it slightly decreases, or moderately if you get up another notch from this one. But what you're really using it to is just to cover the map and be able to create pressure. Now, if you're really wanting to have fun and just have some insane vaulting speeds and breaking speeds, I highly recommend going Shadow Dance. It's going to tremendously reduce the time required to vault windows, open lockers, break pallets, or damage generators while cloaked. Now, that is a big thing. While cloaked can be really a pain. But with Bamboozle and Fired Up, you'll be surprised how quickly you do that, and it'll probably make you laugh when you do. Now, the one thing you might run into while playing this build is that a lot of survivors really hate the perk Bamboozle. They don't like having their vaults taken away. They like to be able to run the killer, and Bamboozle can shut some of those down. In the few games I have played, we've already had quite a few DCs, and it was all due to Bamboozle, which I thought was funny since we're kind of taking Fire Up. You could replace Fire Up with any actual meta perk and probably make this build better. Fire Up is just something that we're doing for fun, and we just want to have fun with it. But that's how it goes sometimes in the Life of the Survival world. Without further ado, let's hop in our game analysis. The Groaning Storehouse can actually be a pretty rough map. A wrong guess at the beginning can really hinder us, especially if we make mistakes. Speaking of mistakes, you will notice quite a few this game just like that, and that's just mostly due to lack of playing Wraith. Now, with that, it's a good opportunity for us to learn. If we make the wrong guess, though, of where they are, like we just did, we really quickly have to find where our survivors could be. I opt to look to go right, but notice that the left gen's quicker, and I'm willing to give up the right gen. I don't want them to ever get me a position where the 3 gens are 2 on the farthest and 1 quick away. Notice here how we stand behind something. We're not giving her any opportunity to run to the pallet that is obviously right there. We're going to let her go, kick the gen to start degenning it, and move on. Now, we notice they're not at this gen, so we're going to quickly turn around and see if we can find them at another one. Oh, we managed to find the bill. With this, we actually play this really bad and still get benefit out of it. We should have waited a little bit longer as we're uncloaking to get the best benefit and to guarantee we couldn't slam in our face. A better player would have. Now, we opt to actually chase here, mostly due to the fact that there aren't really that many good pallets. What we fail to do is play the pallets correctly. What we wanted to do here is actually just either break the pallet or push him around and force him into a bad spot. Instead, we're wasting time by doing this. I know better. I normally don't play this way. I think I just wasn't thinking in the mood that day. Now, with that being said, he gets nice and has 2 pallets here. We want to try and play it around. He throws it when he doesn't see us and tries to go to the right. A better route here is where we're going to take it here. We actually managed to clip the box. Unfortunately, it just happens. We do catch them, but we wasted a lot of time to do so. A big thing to note when you're playing Indie Killer, look at a wall when you pick someone up. You'll notice that flashlight wasn't able to actually get the right angle to blind me and save their ally. Now, you don't always have the opportunity, but if you do have the opportunity, make sure you do so. Now, we did hear the chest close, but I make the mistake of going downstairs and checking that chest because I just forgot about the one I ran into moments earlier. It's a simple mistake, but could cost me a little bit of time. Luckily for us, she runs right in front. Typically here, I would pressure and go for this, but it ends up being a mistake as she has a flashlight that I didn't notice before. With that, what we should have done was just go pressure somewhere else. But we're still going to end the chase relatively quickly. We just have to play a little bit longer. Now remember, our timer is always going, and I like to stick within the 15-second window when doing a chase. We make a nice little miss there. It happens. She pulls some swag out, but in the end we catch them. Took us a little bit longer than I would have liked, but little mistakes here and there. Normally okay, don't beat yourself up about it. Now we see scratch marks here, and my best thought is that he went behind. But he did himself a nice little juke and actually was hiding probably right there in the boxes. They managed to get the save, but all three of them are here, which means they're not pressuring the gens. I'm actually quite okay with this. We can look to end another chase here soon. We go ahead and miss that. It doesn't matter. She had borrowed time anyways. We're going to see just how quickly we can end this chase, or if we're looking for a pallet stun. Now, I have two in sight. Bill looks to be one who doesn't have any kind of pallet in his way. We get the free hit. Make sure you always go the path of least resistance. After which, we see them healing over here in the corner, and we're going to try and stop that to the best of our ability. Now, she's probably pretty close to being fully healed, and we decide that we're going to break off from that chase and actually use our pop as it's getting pretty close to being expired. We get the value out of that, and we get to go back to the chase. Now, for whatever reason, they chose to heal in the same spot, thinking the pallet was keeping them safe. They make the misplay of taking a free hit when they didn't have to. We make the misplay of probably staying here too long overall. Now, to counterplay that, you could say that you have two survivors in one spot and one's bound to make a mistake eventually, such as here. Well, for us though, their sprint burst was up, which we probably should have anticipated, but we didn't. We eat the pallet stun, mostly just to get rid of the pallet, keep us honest. We're going to try and fake it. They don't fall for it, which is okay. Sometimes if you fake stand at a pallet like that, they'll actually wander away from the loop itself. It's always best to keep a killer honest. Now, all of them are here in the same spot. We're going to try and go for a quick hit, and then we're going to bounce away. They're going to get their speed bump, and we're going to move to the next target. Of course, she's looking back for another loop that she's not going to find. We get another free hit here as she tries to loop behind us. Now that we've got a hit, we're going to decide to commit here. With committing here, we know that two of her other allies are injured and most likely healing. We use this time wisely as to apply pressure and look for the down. Now, since we've started chasing from the second injured state, we are going to get down roughly about 20 seconds. We play the pallet correctly by not walking into the pallet and walking around on the short side. Always remember that as a killer, sometimes survivors lure themselves into a false feeling of safety without noticing the short side. Happens all the time. Now, as we get the hook, they actually pop that gem, which is totally okay. And we managed to catch this sly little bugger here as she goes for the save. But she doesn't commit to the save here, probably because she would have went down, and we try and mind game. The mind game doesn't go in our favor, and that's fine. As long as she's wasting time circling us around here, she can't do much. And it keeps pressure around the hook survivor, which is not what you want. They go ahead and they're going to hook swap, which is totally okay with me. Bane decides to be a sly devil here and managed to get us to hit the hook survivor, followed up by a borrowed time. Overall, a nice play. That could have been avoided though if I took a few extra seconds and played it correctly. Bill likes to take free hits. That's what we found out this game. We get some more value out of Pop Goes the Weasel. Not a ton, but every little bit helps. Now during this time, I make actually quite a big mistake. It doesn't seem like it at first, but I lose where I want to go. I at first thought I wanted to go left and create pressure that way, but then I quickly rethink and go to the right and follow Fang. It cuts off a few seconds, but the original reason was because I felt like she was going to go to the survivors to have her healed, and I wanted to create more pressure that route. I just should have thought about it quicker. Though Fang, when we left her alone, gets caught at the gen. We make sure not to pick her off on the gen though in fear of decisive strike. Though I rethink and feel that it's been enough time, I take the risk and just decide to pick her up. Which, for us, happened to turn out okay this time. You should always keep a mental timer in your head though. I know for a fact I wasn't this game. Just took the gamble. We see all three of them healing rather than working on the gen. This is perfectly okay. This is what we want. Wraith is meant to stall out the game and control the flow of the game himself. We also look to take a route that they would go to try and hide from us, which benefits as we catch her coming out right here. Because of our add-on, she's not able to stun us out of our cloak, which is great. Because there's nothing in this game more annoying than being stunned out of your cloak as Wraith. It's so bad. Either way, we pick up that the tracks are leading straight back to the hook, and it's Bill over there going for a cheeky save. We just scared off one survivor, so they're not in a gen, and we're allowed to go back here because two other people are essentially preoccupied, allowing us for an additional chase. Now, there was two ways I could have played that and actually went for Bill, which probably would have been the better play. We are going to stop this loop from happening again with our bamboozle, and we notice that they're healing. We don't like that. It's a little cocky to be doing it, and it's going to cost him at least to get hurt. He waits that pallet for a pallet stun. That's fine. Again, 3 survivors moving around means 3 survivors not on a gen. We're trying to mind game this as much as possible by looking at Bill and going this route. And because so, we're able to catch him off guard and get ourselves a nice little down. Fang looks to stay in the area to distract us. We gladly accept a free hit. And now we're going to make sure to fake here at the pallet for a pickup. We know she'll move a little closer, or someone will feel brave enough. We use our bamboozle and get ourselves a nice second down. Without bamboozle there and fired up, we probably would have never made it. We're keeping our eye out for Bill here, and as we pick up, we notice he's coming in for the save. He's a little too late and tries to pull himself away so he can go for the heal, which in my opinion was also a mistake. This game, if played by other survivors, probably would have stopped me this round. I didn't play my top notch, but we know what we were doing wrong, and we can always take something away from that. Fang decides to flick us, and that's totally okay. I'll gladly give her a nice little stab in the back. She runs off and drops a pallet early. This is a very bad pallet in general, and she misplays. We take advantage of this wholeheartedly. I actually wanted to break the pallet there, but you know, meh. Now the pallet gets it. And now the other survivors shall get it. As we're cloaking, we managed to hear a cough, thanks to injured Bill over here. That was a silly move, Bill. That was very silly. Have a hook nearby. This is a bad situation for most survivors to be in. You don't want 2 survivors hooked close to each other. Now a meanie killer might just patrol the hook survivor along with maybe the closest gen. Me, myself? I've never been a mean killer. No. Never. Now as we're heading for the gen, we know some scratch marks, which means she's going for the save. We attempt to come uncloaked and rethink our decision, and Fang of course chooses a poor action here. The vault would have been a much better choice. Because we were cloaked though, meant that she didn't have borrowed time. If we were looking to end the game as quickly as possible and as effectively as possible, we wouldn't have picked her up there and aimed for the 3-man slug and then finished it out. Plus DS was still in play mentally. We notice the remaining 2 survivors here, and we opt to go for Bill because he turns back, meaning he has no loop to go to. We watch for the dead hard and make sure that we get our hit. Now of course Bill could have decisive strike here as well, but when there's only 2 survivors left and 2 gens remaining, You can kind of choose whether or not you're okay with being decisive struck. This game, I was totally okay with it. And with one survivor remaining, we're able to follow them down with barbecue and chili. We know where they're heading and what angle. They won't hear our terror radius, so this is a pretty easy peasy. We go ahead and we're going to take our 4K. But overall, it was a good game. Definitely a lot of mistakes, but you can see how some mistakes build up over time. Even though we got the 4K and 2 gens remaining, overall a decent game, we probably lost a gen due to the amount of time we wasted through our mistakes. This just goes to show, no matter what rank we are at, those mistakes are huge. I hope this gameplay was fun and helpful. For all killers, especially my Wraith mains, if you're looking for high rank build along with some high rank play, please feel free to watch my previous Wraith game, How to Dominate Red Ranks as Wraith. And remember, while you can take this game seriously, make sure to have some fun, do silly things with some builds. Let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed me explaining my build and playstyle before the game, or if you'd rather have me do it the way I was before. Next video will be a build on Myers that I have been decimating red ranks with. It's actually one of my new favorite builds, especially for a stealth killer. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already to keep up with all my future videos. Much love to everyone, and I hope your killer games go great. Or for my survivor mains, I hope you loop a killer for 5 gens with that extra spicy teabag. Till next time, I'm Red, and I'm signing off.